Hello, welcome to episode number 383 of the TEW 2020 Challenge Run. This is going to be Raw for week 2 of July 2023. And yeah, it's the Raw semi-finals of the King and Queen of the Ring. And yeah, it's going to be Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton and Logan Paul and Xavier Woods in the King of the Ring side. And it's going to be Zelina Vega and Shayna Baszler and Charlotte Flair and Bianca Belair on the Queen of the Ring side. And on top of that, we've got a lot more matches announced. Actually, I don't think I actually did announce any others heading into tonight, but yeah, we have got others. It will be a big show, so without any more further ado, let's jump straight into the show. We open the show up with Sasha Banks, the women's champion. Sasha, so last week, me and my number one contender, Julia, teamed up on Heat, and it was ahead of our scheduled match at Evolution where me and her would face off for the women's championship, but she won the number one contendership. But that's no longer going to happen because Julia, in case you didn't hear the news, got hurt, so she's now unable to appear at Evolution. So instead, I now have to defend my championship in a match that was announced last week. Kairi Sane and Rhea Ripley both get shots at my championship, despite, neither being on this show 2 weeks ago. Rhea was suspended for beating up referees, and Kairi, she was banned after she lost at Money in the Bank. Lost, that's right. But these are my top challenges for this championship, and quite frankly, it doesn't matter who it's going to be, because I finally managed to beat Charlotte on pay-per-view for a championship. I finally won back the WWE Women's Championship, and I'm not going to drop it at the first defense. So bring Rhea, bring Kairi, bring every single woman you can, because it's going to remain boss time once this is all said and done. Now comes Kairi. She gets in Sasha's face, and she says, Sasha, I have great respect for you, but this opportunity means the world to me. I didn't think I'd be getting a shot at that championship. I really need a win to turn my career back around after I lost to EO. So at Evolution, I'm taking that title, and I'm going to take it all the way to SummerSlam in my home country, Japan, in the Tokyo Dome, and defend the championship on my soil. And then Rhea comes out, she's like, girls, two little girls bickering about who's going to be the champion. Well, guess what? Mommy's home. And that championship, guess what? Mommy's home, because this is, quite frankly, something that's been irritating me for a while now. I never got my rematch for that championship after I was screwed out of it back at New Year's Revolution. Bianca, despite not being the champion, she got a rematch for the championship, but I didn't. Sasha, you stood in my way, and at WrestleMania you learnt what happens when you step in Mommy's way. So, unfortunately for you, your hand-picked challenger to try and get away from facing me for this title, that didn't work out. So now here I stand, ready to take you down, beat both of you in the same match, and regain my championship. And Sasha goes, well, Rhea, first of all, you're right, WrestleMania didn't exactly go my way. But if you don't think that I've learnt from that night, you think that you're facing a different Sasha Banks than you faced back at WrestleMania, then believe it. Go to Evolution and overlook me, because that will be the biggest mistake you can make. Because I was ready to defend this championship against one of the best wrestlers in this division. Now I've got two of them in front of me. That means Boss Time has got to work extra hard to keep a hold of this title and remain top of this division, but go on doing just that. So yes, women's title matches are never allowed to go as planned for me. I actually think since WrestleMania, the only title match that has gone the way that it was supposed to was the 4-way at Backlash, because it was going to be Nova and Charlotte, at Money in the Bank. Nova got pregnant. Now Julie's been hurt. Yeah, it's just all a mess. The original women's title match from the Raw side for Evolution, like 3 months ago, was Nova defending against Julia, and now neither of those two women are in the match. So, yes. Huh. Okay, I definitely made the right decision. Apparently there's not a hot storyline in this, which has penalised it, which is silly, because I might as well just delete them all, because I have strict storylines turned off, so the only thing that this is doing is, if there's not a hot storyline, it will drag the match down. And the match gets a 78, Charlotte versus Bianca, which should be getting a 90, because Charlotte got on 89 and Bianca got on 91. But then because apparently they're both in the Raw Women's title feud, so they haven't updated it in months, the match got dinged. Okay, whatever. But in 60 minutes and 57, the winner and the woman who will advance to Evolution to be a part of the Raw Queen of the Ring final is Bianca Belair. When Danny Jordan and Aaliyah and Skylar pop up, they distract Charlotte, and that distraction allows Bianca to once again eke by. Remember, she eked past Roxy Perez thanks to AJ. And yeah, here she is now, eking past Charlotte Flair and getting to the final. 89 for Charlotte, 91 for Bianca. After the match, it's Danny, Aaliyah, and Skylar get in the ring, and they go face to face. She's like, Charlotte, this thing, between us three and you three, it sort of has to end. We take your championship from you, and we cost you Queen of the Ring, and you want to kick our heads off. You want to face us. Well, how about it? Us three, the former Queen's Court, take on your new royal dynasty at Evolution. And Charlotte snatches the mic out of Jordan's hand. She goes, "You have made the biggest mistake of your career. You see, when you were under my wing, you were getting more relevancy and more spotlight than you ever got in your career, and more than you ever will get, because you're with the Queen. But now you decided to rebel against my queendom, and I'm still yet to get a rematch for my championship, because I was in Queen of the Ring, but now I'm free from Queen of the Ring because of you, and you're going to pay for that. So if it's a match at at Evolution, a 6-woman tag team match, a humbling that you so desperately want, then girls, be my guest." Whoa. So yeah, 6-woman tag team match, Evolution, Danny Jordan and Leah and Skylar against Charlotte, Ava and Ariana Grace. Yeah, seemed like the natural next step, because we never actually did the 6-woman tag when we did the Jordan and Charlotte match at Scott Arcade. So here we are, this is the blow-off. Evolution, I do have big matches on. Like, I know SummerSlam's right after, so I should probably save some. But yeah, I like having Evolution be a big card for women, especially Evolution 5. Yeah, 6-woman tag match. Royal Dynasty against, the Queen's Court, but they're not the Queen's Court anymore. We then see Drew McIntyre backstage in his locker room getting ready for the match, when he's jumped from behind by Aleister Black. Aleister Black hits him with a chair, and he's like, tell your new best friend Cody what happens when you mess with me, and this is what's going to await him at King of the Ring. And he obviously wraps a chair around Drew's knee and concertos, Pillmanizes his knee. And Aleister Black just sort of walks out as the doctors come in and check on Drew, who is in the main event tonight against Randy Orton, but he has just had his leg Pillmanized by Aleister Black. Ashley Scott is waiting in the ring when out comes AJ, and she's got a mic, and she's like, "So, last week, I did something a little bit bad. You see, who I thought was my protege, Roxy Perez, since she became the Liberty Champion back at WrestleMania, she seems to think she's above me. A woman who wouldn't even exist in this business if not for me, okay? So, if Roxy Perez is your favourite, if Cora Jade is your favourite, if Ashley Scott right there is your favourite, who, let's be honest, she's no one's favourite, you can all thank me for you having your favourite wrestlers around. But I'm sick and tired of being treated like I'm not revolutionary. Like, everybody, this next generation of women don't all look up to me as some sort of hero. Because they do. You know, Cora, I've already put her in her place. Roxy, who knows? And you, Ashley, you're the last victim here. And you are just a lost little puppy, a lost little fly that's flown straight into my web. Because now, I'm not messing around. It's time for me to take what I deserve. And then we get the match. AJ Lee vs Ashley Scott gets a 69. Yeah, AJ wins with a Shining Wizard. 85 for AJ, 43 for Ashley. This is actually better than I thought it would be. There is something funny about this match that I can't explain right now, but I will get to it eventually. I'll be able to explain why it was so funny to me. But yeah, AJ does beat Ashley Scott with the Black Widow, I imagine, not the Shining Wizard, because after the match she keeps the Black Widow locked in, and like Ashley keeps tapping out, and then Roxy Perez runs out from the back. She chases AJ off. AJ, as soon as Roxy gets into the ring, AJ dips and escapes through the crowd as Roxy checks on Ashley. Yeah. We then get another Imperium training segment, and he says, "Now," Gunther's going up to Vinci, and he goes, "Gio, I gave you the opportunity in your home country. You can wrestle in front of the Italian crowd, and you will have the chance to put down this loudmouth idiot Christian at King of the Ring, because quite frankly, he's not worth my time in singles action." And Vinci goes, "Understood, Ring General." And then Ludwig walks in, he goes, "Now, you see, the career of Edge was already collected by Imperium, and it'll only be all the more sweet when we put Christian out of commission as well. And that is if he makes it to King of the Ring, because next week I will beat Christian." So yeah, there's the challenge. Well, we've got Vinci versus Christian at King of the Ring, because, you know, it's in Rome, so I might as well give the match to Vinci on the pay-per-view. And Ludwig has challenged Christian to a match next week on Raw. So, you know, busy week for Christian next week. Let's see if he accepts that challenge. Then cut backstage. Tatum and Ivy are chilling with their titles. They're talking about, you know, what a wild ride it's been, and, you know, Evolution's coming up. Women's tag team titles are going to be on the line on that show, but they don't know who they're defending against yet. You know, this division has got a lot of new faces in it recently. It's got Shayna and Carmella, but of course Shayna's still busy with Queen of the Ring. It's got Lyra and Killer Kelly, who they beat at Money in the Bank. And then, of course, there's old names in there as well they're still yet to face off with. And that's when Mackie walks in. Mackie, of course, does still have the hernia, but she's made the show this week. She goes, "You're looking for challenges? We want title shot." And then we see Mandy Rose walking. He's like, "Oh, you want your girls to get a title shot? Well, isn't that cute?" Well, you see, because Toxic Attraction, we've been overlooked since we first got here on the main roster. So, if it's a title opportunity on the line, then my girls will be all in for that. And then Rick Boogs will walk past. I can't help but hear you arguing here, girls, about who should face Tatum and Ivy for the tag team titles at Evolution. Well, I say we find out tonight, when two members of the JFlow face off with Gigi Dolan and JC Jane of Toxic Attraction. with the winners going to Evolution to face Tatum and Ivy for the titles. And he walks off. And yeah, there we get a number one contenders match coming up tonight between two members of JFlow and Toxic Attraction. 86! They've got great chemistry. Xavier Woods against Logan Paul in the Raw semi-final. Of course, this had been Xavier Woods' childhood dream to become king. 2 years ago, he was screwed out of it by Tyler Breeze. And this year, he's up against social media megastar Logan Paul, who probably doesn't even know what King of the Ring is. But he wants to win it. And in 1452, the winner, and advancing to the Raw King of the Ring final to face either Randy Orton or Drew McIntyre. After blatantly cheating, Mr. Logan Paul does beat Xavier Woods. They both scored 90s, got great chemistry, apparently there was a lack of psychology. But I can't believe I'm saying these words, but Logan Paul finds himself in the Raw King of the Ring final. And he is now 2 wins away from becoming king and facing off with the World Heavyweight or WWE Champion at SummerSlam. We then see Boogs again. This time he's in the medical room with Drew. And he says, hey guys, Dave has asked me for an update on Drew McIntyre on his main event tonight. And Drew goes, I'm fine, I'm going to go up there, I'm going to beat Randy Orton. And then Thoughts goes, he's not fine. I mean, the status of this match, it's up in the air. And Drew goes, I'm wrestling tonight. Whether you tell me I'm wrestling tonight or not, okay? I'm not going to give up my spot in King of the Ring because some spooky bastard tried to send a message to somebody else that wasn't even me. That ain't how Drew McIntyre rolls. He just gets up off the bed, like shoves the doctors to the floor, shoves Boogs to the floor, and storms out. We then cut to Batista in his office when Bianca Belair walks in. I imagine she's probably got like Gucci sunglasses and she's dressed out of her ring gear. She's got like a bag, like she's ready to leave. She goes, Dave, I think it's great that finally, for the first time since WrestleMania, your franchise player, the woman who really made Raw, the woman who is officially recognized as the franchise player of this whole brand, finally got her opportunity to become queen and get a championship match. And, after busting my ass off, I finally get to go to Evolution to face Zelina and Shayna in the Raw final. And Batista's like, busted your ass? Like, you didn't win any match fairly. Like, you've just coasted through because of issues your opponents have had with other people. Bianca goes, look, Dave, you can kind of cope all you want, because I know you don't like me being the franchise player around here, because I was crowned that before you even got power here. But I'm going to go do my thing. I'd love to stay and watch Zelina and Shayna's match now, but Tez, he's got this whole reservation. But he says, well, about him. When's he going to show up to work? He's Mr. Money in the Bank. We need that kind of pull on Raw. Then he goes, I know you need the pull of Montez Ford, the superstar here on Raw, but Girlie's got other commitments. Okay. And I'm going to have to go, but don't worry. I'll be here next week, and of course I'll be in Paris for Evolution when I become the queen. Okay? Thanks, Dave. And she leaves. And she's like, what the fuck? We then get a backstage interview. Kathy Kelly is with the Intercontinental Champion, Sheamus. She says, Sheamus, you defeated Bobby Lashley in your first defense of that championship. Who's next? Sheamus goes, since I became the Intercontinental Champion, I learned that, there's always a target on your back. And Ridge the Fridge was brought in to stop Anthony Ogogo when he had Gable's back. But the championship, the contenders, they come from all angles, and you really need to watch from behind, because you never know when someone could sneak up from behind. And then bang, he's caught from behind by a guitar shot from Double J. And Ridge Holland turns around to try and fight him, but he's jumped by Corbin and the Good Brothers. And Corbin then looks down at Sheamus. He goes, you want a challenger for that championship? I want big champ paydays. So next week, me and you for that title. And then Kobain walks off. And then Planet and are all laughing as Sheamus and Ridge sort of start stirring. But yes, Kobain has taken aim at the IC champion. And he'll... well, he won't. We don't know if he will, but he's laid the challenge out to face Sheamus next week. We'll have to see if he accepts. 76, actually pretty good for JFlow against Toxic Attraction. It's Mina and Tam of JFlow who are the tag team, and they actually do pick up the win, defeating JC and GG. Tam pins JC with a spin kick, and it will be JFlow's Tam and Mina challenging Ivy Nile and Tatum Paxley for the Women's Tag Team Championships at Evolution in 13 days? Yeah. 73 for Tam, 72 for Mina, 60 for JC, 66 for GG. Yeah, 76 for that is pretty good. Speaking of guitars, we just saw Jeff Jarrett, now we see Elias. He's like on the phone to Titus, he goes, okay, well, I know things between us and me and you haven't gone off the best of starts, but trust me, I've got a gift that I know that you're going to enjoy. And he hangs up. Elias goes, I sure would love a musical act to duet with. Who could I have perform on my next signal? I wish they could just pop up. Like, all I would have to do is, say his name.
Say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry.
I hear you're looking for a new sing. I mean, I'm gonna let you go. Like, I'm gonna let bygones be bygones, okay? The Elias is a family guy, Mr. Samson song. Hit. But there's no hard feelings between me and you now. Okay? That's by the by. But I think about it. That combined with Mr. Samson himself would be off the charts. And then Elias, he cracked his guitar off the back of Joe Hendry. And he pins him to win the 24/7 title. Boo! That son of a bitch. And Elias, he goes, yes! And he goes, he asks his phone, he goes, call Titus. And he walks off, he goes, I've got it. And then Titus is like, got what? He goes, oh, just you wait and see. And Joe Hendry is laid heartbroken. His title ripped away from him by Elias. From that to My Wrestling Academia, and like they're in their anime watching room. Well, Sensei, Saray, Manny, and Carland are. But instead of watching an anime, they're watching Velocity from last week and them confronting scripts. And Manny goes, oh, we sure did get that guy good. Okay, I don't understand how, like, we were given these, like, riddles, these secret scripts, and we can work out that maybe the guy called Scripts was the one delivering them to us. See, Club of Uncovering Mysteries, chalk one up to the good guys. Now, this Friday, Sensei is going to challenge Scripts for the championship, and Sensei is going to become the Cruiserweight champion. And then we get Scripts' power, as well as still having Dependent. But then we got one more mystery to uncover. And Sensei just goes, we do? What's that? Manny goes, we need to work out who Scripts is. And they also look at him, and then Sensei goes, Manny. Then Dio barges in. He's in like a PE teacher's outfit. He's got shorts, he's got a whistle, he's got like the white stuff on his face, the chalk. And he goes, what are we doing here? He grabs Sensei, lifts him up, and goes, haven't you got a title match in 4 days' time? And Sensei goes, yeah, we're just watching back, the angle of us confronting scripts and all that goes, you need to be training for this championship match, Sensei. Huh? How have I become the guy training here when you're supposed to be Sensei? Okay. Now, chop. Back up there. Get your ass on the field. And Sensei, head down, walks out, ready for a fight. And Dio goes, as for the rest of you, no more being a bad influence on them. Okay. We need them 100% focused for this championship match. Serene Collins, I know it's not you. Manny. And he goes, what? Why me? And Dio goes, because I know you, Manny. I know you. Look at you there, wearing your cum t-shirt. Manny goes, well, I've grown to quite like the name, okay? I think we should consider wearing these all. And then Dio goes, just training, okay? We can't afford to lose this. So Dio, the voice of reason, ahead of Scripts versus Sensei on Velocity this week. Oh! Somehow this was the better of the two women's matches on this show. It's Zelina Vega against Shayna Baszler, the second Raw semi-final in Queen of the Ring, with the winner of this going on to face Bianca Belair at Evolution in the Raw final of Queen of the Ring. And the winner is, in 9:54, Shayna Baszler, who defeats Zelina by Kirifuda Clutch. Carmella is probably out there at ringside, but doesn't affect the finish, really. 75 for Zelina, 68 for Shayna, confirming that at Evolution, the Raw Queen of the Ring final will be Shayna Baszler taking on Bianca Belair. We then see angry Roxy Perez storming through the hallway, and then Kathy Kelly approaches her like right outside Big Dave's office, and she stops her and she's like, Roxy, what's the matter? Goes, I need to go talk to Dave, okay, but first. And she just snatches the mic and she goes, AJ, you think that I didn't appreciate all that time I spent being by your side, being your partner and and having you as my mentor, because I didn't give you what? I didn't give you a championship match? Huh? So I was the selfish one for not giving you a championship match when you threw it all away for the sake of glory. Okay? It's not my fault. The championship didn't exist when you did. Okay? And it does exist now for the hard work that you put in. But you're going a little bit cuckoo again, AJ, and I recognize this side of you. If you want to go crazy, I can go crazy. And she storms into Batista's office. And Kathy goes, well, I assume Roxy's going to go and get a World Liberty Championship. Man, she stops as somebody walks out of Batista's office, and Warden is there in a suit. She's like, Warden, it's been a while since I've seen you here on Raw. What's the matter? And Warden just looks down at Kathy and goes, it has been a while since you've seen me on Raw, huh? And I wouldn't get used to this sight, because this could well be the last time you see me on Raw. Thank you for your time. And he just walks off. And Kathy goes, well, what on earth is he on about? We then cut back to Zelina storming down a different hallway, angry, like knocking boxes off, like the crates. When Andrade and Cruz walk up, she's like, hey, relax. He goes, yes, you came up short tonight. He's like, I'm just so sick of... I feel like I'm letting down the LWO, Ray's not even... Ray handpicked us all to be in this group, but he's not even here. And I feel like I'm not pulling my weight. And Dominik just laughs off screen, and him and Anthony Nese walk into frame. He goes, why do you care so much about the opinions of Ray? Okay, he's not even a champion anymore. You know why he's not a champion anymore? Because Dirty Dom, I cost him that championship because my deadbeat dad doesn't deserve any kind of title or glory. But if you still want to look up to a loser like Rey Mysterio instead of, the superior Mysterio, okay, babe, you know where I am if you want me. He sort of winks at Zelina, and everyone cringes because it's Dom. And then we hear a familiar voice from off camera. He's like, hey, listen here. And into frame walks Conan once again for the second week in a row. And he goes, Dominik, I remember you when you were a little boy. and to see the asshole you've become makes me upset. Now, of course, as one of Rey's best friends in the entire business, I've been in touch with that man. And guess what? He's going to be here next week. And he wants to take on you. And he points at Anthony Nese. And he goes, what? Me? I mean, Rey Mysterio is a bum anyway. Like, this is the new face of Cruiserweight Wrestling right here. That's the old past has been. Okay, I'll whip his ass. I'll whip his ass real good. And then they walk off, and then Conan's like, as for the rest of you, I have a plan. AJ and Finn come out to the ring. And AJ goes, Path of the Dragon, we last week we called those boys out and we told them, King of the Ring, OG leaders, Path of the Dragon, Raw Tag Team Championships. After that epic run they had with the titles, they deserve a rematch for these belts. And the Finn's like, well, we just thought we'd come out here in wherever we are. I want to say Portland, Oregon. Get a warm up tonight before we face arguably the best tag team here on Raw today.
Yes, boy!
Yes, boy. Out come Pretty Deadly with Tonya Breeze. And Tonya goes, AJ, Finn, you guys aren't the only team here on Raw that are having the best week of your life, because last week, after what we thought would never happen, Pretty Deadly were reunited. Yes, boy. Yes, boy. Now, I hear you say, AJ, that you want to face the best tag team here on Raw. Well, the best tag team here on Raw has been MIA for a month because someone we once considered family here in the Maximum Male Models ratted Ellie out. But no fear, because we're all back tonight, and me and the Kitster are gonna beat your ass and take those championships, and we'll be the ones heading to Rome. Yes, boy. And then we get the match, Pretty Deadly against AJ and Finn. Gets an 81 for a Pretty Deadly match. That's actually pretty good. And it is AJ who pins Elton Prince with a Styles Clash in 11:51. And the OG leaders made the defense number 1 of the Raw Tag Team titles. 82 for Finn. Oh, 82 for AJ, sorry. 86 for Finn. 61 for Kit. And a 58 for Elton. And yes, Pretty Deadly back in action here after, Elton was suspended for a month. But he's back, and we're rocking and rolling. They came up short tonight, but far from the end for Yes Boys. Next week, though, we have a pretty stacked episode of Raw. And as we just heard, Rey Mysterio will return to Raw the first time since he lost the Cruiserweight Championship to Scripts on Velocity 3 weeks ago. And he will go one-on-one with Mr. Anthony Nese of the Nese Business, a long-time rival of his at this point. And then, as we heard earlier on tonight, Ludwig Kaiser of Imperium. 5 days before Giovanni Vinci will face Christian in Vinci's home country of Italy, Ludwig will face Christian one-on-one on next week's episode of Raw. And also, as we heard earlier on tonight, the Intercontinental Championship will be on the line when Sheamus makes his next defense of the title when he faces Baron Corbin. And in a big main event, regardless of what happens in tonight's main event, Drew McIntyre will face Aleister Black one-on-one on next week's episode of Raw. That's Raw, and King of the Ring is now a card that's starting to take shape. As we have heard, as we just mentioned, Giovanni Vinci of Imperium is the one who's been tasked to face off with Christian at King of the Ring in Rome. And yeah, big opportunity for Vinci in front of his home countrymen. And that's not the only match, because we also heard the Raw Tag Team Championships will be on the line as the OG leaders AJ Styles and Finn Balor take on Humberto Carrillo and Zergus the Mighty, the former Tag Team Champions of nearly a year, get their rematch in Rome. And of course, the heated main event, Cody Rhodes defends his WWE Championship against Aleister Black. But of course, there's 2 premium live events next weekend. The first is King of the Ring on Saturday, and on Sunday night we head to Paris for Evolution, and has now officially been signed off the Liberty Championship will be on the line as Roxy Perez and AJ Lee will go one-on-one in a heated feud for that title. That's the only title match we now know confirmed, because we now know the Women's Tag Team Championships will also be defended as Ivy Nile and Tatum Paxley defend their titles against JFlow's Nina and Tam. And that's not the only women's tag team match, because a six-woman tag team match has been announced. Danny Jordan, Aaliyah and Skylar, the former Queen's Court, finally get their chance to go 3-on-3 with Charlotte, Ava Raine and Ariana Grace, the current Royal Dynasty, in Paris next Sunday. And we know the Raw final of the Queen of the Ring will feature Bianca Belair taking on Shayna Baszler. We then see, before the main event, the Nightmare Factory bus pulls up outside the building, and Cody's here. He's been running late, but he arrives, title over his shoulder, he's in a suit, and he says, stay tuned, because he's gonna call out Aleister Black at the end of the night. We then get an 88 rated main event. Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre. Of course, Drew out here, despite having his knee crushed by Aleister Black earlier on tonight. He's defied doctor's orders for this match here. And it goes to 18:35. And then obviously the finish would be Drew McIntyre in the corner going 3-2-1, counting down for the Claymore. He goes to run and hit the Claymore, but his knee gives out on him, which allows Randy to hit the RKO and score the win. 82 for Randy Orton, 88 for Drew McIntyre, and now we know apparently Randy's gimmick's getting stale. That's weird. But anyway, we now know the Raw final of King of the Ring will feature Randy Orton taking on Logan Paul. And the winner of that match goes into the overall grand final. It'll also happen at King of the Ring. So yeah, Logan Paul going to Rome to face Randy Orton. But then that's not the end of the night, because wrestling doesn't have more than one royal family. Out comes Cody, and he storms to the ring. He just grabs the mic and he goes, Aleister Black, get your ass out here. Let's fight. Lights go out. Aleister's behind Cody. Cody turns around and he goes for the Black Mass, but Cody blocks the Black Mass, like Arn Anderson did, but this time actually with, the WWE champion. And they end up fighting around ringside. Imagine the spot would be Cody would clothesline Aleister over like the barricade outside. And then, like, as the logo pops up as we go off the air, Cody would leap and run and jump over the barricade and wipe him out. And then, yeah, it would just go off air, but the fight's still going on, because I like that visual, because it's fun. But yeah, that's the end of the show. 91. Yeah. Charlotte and Bianca was really weird. I may just delete all the storylines, because that's really annoying. And, like, I know the storylines I'm doing. I don't need the game to keep track of them for me, so I just turn strict storylines off. But yeah, that's it for Raw. And we head on to Heat on the other side. Heat kicks off with an angle in Brandy's office. She's just sort of like getting ready for the show and shit, when in storm all 5 members of Next Gen. And Kathy calls in the front. She's like, do we have an issue here, Brandy? And Brandy goes, not as far as I'm aware, no, why? Kathy goes, well, I think we do, because I'm sure you remember last week's episode of Heat. Me and Tracy pinned the WWE Women's Champion in that tag team main event. Brandy goes, yeah, that was really impressive. And then Kathy goes, and then Julia got hurt. Which, you could say we did. And then Brandy goes, yeah, correct. And then Kathy goes, so we then need to find a new challenger for Sasha Banks at Evolution. And you go with adding her to Kyrie and Rhea instead of giving the woman who pinned the champion the title match. And Brandy goes, well, I mean, it's not entirely my call. Dave also had a call, and obviously Batista wants people who are on Raw to wrestle for the championship, and you girls aren't on Raw, okay? You're Heat, so I guess that's why. And Kathy goes, that seems awfully convenient. Okay, I know what it actually is. You're scared to let us run wild on a champion because we're going to end up taking the title and running this division. So we do have a problem here, Brandy, and for once we're going to be nice and let you off. But we know how we're going to take care of this problem. Because you can deny us all we want, but when have we been proven wrong so far? So, who knows when you see us again? Well, I mean, I do. But you won't know. And you'll have to live with the fact that you could have fixed all of this by doing your job correctly. And they will leave. And Brandy goes, well, I'm not going to bow down to threats, bitch. Who even told you tonight was open mic night? We open up with Tiffany Stratton against Fallon Henley. Gets a 50, actually pretty good for who's in the match. Tiffany does pin Fallon with a PME in 9 minutes 31. 50 for Tiff, and 39 for Fallon. Yeah, just to get her a win. She wasn't on the last week's SmackDown, then she lost in Queen of the Ring, so yeah. Tiffany gets a big dub here over Fallon Henley. We then get a weird match. They don't seem to click, okay. 54 is still actually not even that bad. It's Violet Martin against Piper Niven. And it's Violet Martin who picks up the win in 10:29 with a spinning reverse STO. Or STO, I guess. 48 for Violet and a 56 for Piper Niven. Because, yeah, Violet Martin, she's been sort of getting into a beef with Indy Hartwell recently because, you know, Indy still is loyal to Sanga. But Sanga's group has been attacking the Frenchman. So, who knows where that's leading. With a show in Paris next weekend. 62. These matches have been, like, nothing special, but still, like, pretty good for who's involved in them. Alba Fire and Isla Dawn defeat KC2 when Alba pins Katana Chance for a Gory Bomb. 43 for Iona Webb, 69 for Alba Fire, 59 for Kaden Carr, and a 64 for Katana Chance. Yeah. And I guess now they're out of the Henley barn. Chase you were trapped in the barn, or in the bar, yeah. So they've escaped, so they're allowed to wrestle matches now because, you know, they've just got Chase you trapped. And a 64 rated main event, which under-delivered considering the in-ring ratings. But yeah, Xia Li is getting 71s now. But she does come up short here. Sonya Deville does get beaten a lot. And she is a former, like, Raw and SmackDown Women's Champion. So I feel like I should probably give her some wins. So she beat Xia Li, decent match. 11:49. 76 for Sonya, 71 for Xia Li. And thus ends this week's episode of Heat. Gets a 61. That's fine. What matters more, it gradually got better from, yeah. What matters more is what you thought of the show, so let me know what you thought in the comments below. And I'll see you next time for SmackDown Week 2 of July, which will feature their 2 semi-finals of King and Queen of the Ring, along with other stuff. US title match, Karrion Kross versus Pete Dunne, actually. See you then.